People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time. It's always appreciated, and I'm always appreciative of all your help and support. So it's lovely to do Q&A Fridays, or Fridays equals Q&A day, like I continuously say. Not gonna lie, people, it's boiling. I made a rookie mistake, a David Luiz sort of mistake leading to a penalty. I normally have a, what do you even call it, a flannel on deck and as task, and I don't. It's hot, the lights are beaming. I keep saying that in every vid. I love the summer, but since I started doing videos, it's a bit of a pressure thing. So allow me, if you see the mad sweat, it's a Mazzolini right now. I feel like I'm doing pre-season, but I'm always appreciative, like I said, of your support and the positive feedback, the constructive criticism, even the trolls, because you wouldn't be trolling someone you didn't think was decent. If you thought I was shit, and which some of you might do, and that's fair play, but if you troll a guy, you've got to have some admiration at some level for a Donny. I don't know why, but I think that's the case. Not that the trolls get to man, but let's crack on, man. Thank you for your questions via YouTube, Twitter, etc. as well. If I've missed you out, don't feel any sort of way. Please stay alert to the deadlines. And when I ask you the questions, or ask me questions via my YouTube community tab, or what a lot of you lot do, you follow me on Twitter. I ask it typically on Twitter as well. And obviously just comment the videos. Like, I'm gonna go back during the course of this video at some point and go back to my last video and see if there is any questions. Hardly is at half the time, but you never know, there might be one. So let's crack on, man. Let's crack on with the Twitter ones. Each one teach one, and very nice man, just a very nice and positive person, man. You say a lot of good stuff, but you've asked me two questions. You said, how excited are you for the coming season, and do you think in an ideal world Arteta can get more out of the players? I think so. I think, Arteta's shown that he can get some out of the players. I said on a regular basis in my videos, more so under Emre, I said, head coach. It's not manager, head coach. Yes, like Emre with Arteta, but go back to the Emre one. I said he needed better players. Some players are not up to task, but to a degree, coaching has never been more important at this job. We're Arsenal. We can't go out there and spend 80 million per player all the time. We can make one big one, but we can't keep pouring it. We ain't got the luxury that Pep Guardiola has, spending, how much money, more GDP than certain countries, just on his back line, and the luxury of, if it flops, it flops. Cancelo hasn't worked for City. Is it Zinchenko? I can't remember Donny's name. What was it? Or was it Maffeo? Not Zinchenko, he's there. Maffeo, I can't. I'm talking about, that left back that was there for like 6 months. He was sold to Leipzig. They brought him back, and I don't know where he is now. In fact, he might have even went on loan to Leipzig. That's how mad it is. Coaching, he's got to be able to turn some of these players that we don't think are good enough into some competent individuals. He has to get more out of players that are doing well, and obviously players that we find roles in the squad for people we didn't think so, and he has done that. Obviously the problem is, with all due respect to Mustafi, David Luiz, and these sort of players there, that Arteta's shown he can get more out of these players, but to a degree, a good tradesman never blames his tools, but to a degree you can only get so much with the tools we've got. It's like if you're eating a steak with a plastic fork, plastic cutlery set, you could probably just about do it, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna break, and shatter the plastic's gonna go everywhere, or you might have to do it slowly. You get it? That's the tools that Arteta's got. He ain't got the tools he's got available to him collectively are not enough, but based on what I've seen, I'm inclined to believe he can get more out of the young players. People like Mustafi's found a role for himself. David Luiz as well. He keeps giving Saka and Joe Willock and Nelson, whether you rate these guys or not, confidence, and he allows them to play. So I do think he can get more out of his players, and I want to see that. I want to see, can he get more out of our midfield? Can he eradicate some of these mistakes? Because we still have had them. We've defended a bit better, but we're still conceding cheap goals. Can he better go about that? Midfield, I need to see more goals and assists. Can we get more out of Pepe? Can we see more sustained form for Lacazette? Because as much as I like Lacazette, while he's been here, you see dips. He goes through periods of good form where he's a bit quiet, and obviously this season's probably been his worst sort of them moments as an Arsenal player. Can you get more consistency out of them? Aubameyang, can you get more out of Aubameyang? I don't know what more we can get out of Aubameyang. I'm forcing it a bit with this example, but can he get more assists? So I do think so, but I do think he needs to be supported. In relation to excitement, obviously, as every fan, you're going to have that bit of optimism. I'm just so happy that season's done. We can move forward to this one. It probably will be the same thing again, but yeah, I'm as excited. I'm just as excited as a football fan to see the Premier League return. Obviously, obviously it's a new chance for Arsenal to try and get top four, and at this moment in time in August, of course, I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm bullish, but of course I've got some renewed confidence without talking about signings. So if I see signings and certain different movements, there'll be more, I don't know the word, but more sort of enthusiasm with me. But for me, I've got hope for top four. I just hope, for me, all I want to see is more of a fight for top four. You see how Chelsea and United shagged it? Obviously, I want to be in it from the start and stuff like that, and not have to be fighting neck and neck with the teams like they were doing with Leicester, and Leicester choked. But I want to see us just first and foremost put more of a fight. You know, we were never in that top four race. Try and be in it, and that's only going to come with more clean sheets, with better performances away from home, with ultimately more consistency, fundamentally better players. So I'm as optimistic as I can be with the dynamics of my club, my guy. You asked the next question. You said, do you have any secrets or new ideas for content next season? Probably start streaming a bit more, man. I know you lot have been onto me on that, so we'll try to do a bit more streams. I've got a couple other stuff in the pipeline as well. Nothing big and stuff. I'm always trying to do things, you know, probably make things a bit more visually pleasing. You know me, I always try and make little progress. So stuff like that, but I'd say probably, you know, one commitment, I want to do more of the live stream, especially as I don't know, I want the landscape to change. I want to be able to go back to the Emirates, but assuming we're still doing this at home stuff and not allowed, or if not everyone can go to the stadium, you know, it's a chance to capitalise and be a bit more live, because you lot have been onto me. I don't do too many live streams, if not any. So I'd say that sort of stuff, and a couple other, I won't say surprises, but thinking of a couple other stuffs. So we'll see what happens, my dude, man. But it always means the world that guys like yourself, you're always in the Q&A, you're always asking great questions, you're always watching my stuff. Honestly, my guy's appreciative, and not just him, but anyone who does that, no matter how frequently or how little you do, people. It really is appreciative, really, really is, from the bottom of my heart. So with that, let me crack on to the next questions, people. Oh, there's a decent amount on Twitter. My word, I'm sweating. Might be the question. Jimmy Conway, my guy, said, not even a question, but I don't know if everyone has fully understood the significance of Martinelli's injury. We might not see him regularly till 2021-22. Our season is crucial from January onwards, so I can't see him getting many minutes. You never know, my guy. From what I've seen, you know, this was obviously it's out for the long time, and he got it in training, but this seems to kind of correct that. Obviously, with young players, that's what you want to see. You want to not see this go wrong or any setbacks and then niggling playing in his career. You know, a certain Jack Wilshere, he had one surgery or one little mishap and one little injury, then you know the course he's been on. Obviously, with that being said, you know what, he's only going to miss a couple of months. Obviously, you know, they said he's not playing the end of this year. He'll be back in January, as you put. You know, just because he's fully fit doesn't mean he's ready to go. We need to take it easy and things, but I wouldn't go. I think I'm quite bullish on that, and I do think people don't understand. I think people do understand, but they don't, because we've lost a genuine option out wide. That's why I kind of don't really mind Williams signing. I know Williams talked of playing 10 right wing and left wing. Of course, I'm gonna miss Martinelli, man. I'm gonna miss him. I feel it's sad from a personal point of view, because similar to Saka, you know, they've elevated themselves within the side. You know, if you was watching Martinelli, fair enough, but I didn't know too much about him beyond what we saw. I definitely weren't taking him in when we were linked with him. I mean, before we was linked with him, I didn't know who he was. But I've seen him come here for 6 mil, and arguably he's tripled, maybe even quadrupled his value now, innit? And next season, you know, you wanted to see him kind of build on his confidence. And just when he was patient, he was just starting to go, he's been injured, but it's an occupational hazard. I do think it is a significant injury, but it is what it is, my guy, man. It really is what it is, man. Love for that regardless. Thomas said, I've got a feeling you may have covered this, but I can't remember. So what is your favourite goal or goals of the 2019-20 season? I kind of did, and I want to go back and watch all the goals and do a video on this. I really should. But off the top of my head, you got to say Lacazette's against Spurs. Maitland-Niles, where he set up Aubameyang. It weren't the maddest of goals, but I like the sequence of play. Same goes for Aubameyang against Crystal Palace. You know, the couple we scored against City. Who else has scored bangers this year, man? Like actual bangers. Pepe's free kicks. Who scored a banger this year, man? He's really. This is why I want to go back and watch. I'm trying to think off the top. That's why I'm thinking of Lacazette. Because for me, I'm not gonna lie. I like the passing moved goals and stuff, and we've done some good goals like that. But for me, I always give it to the bangers, to the screamers. So I'd probably say Lacazette's against Spurs off the top of my head, but. You know, I can't. I'm fighting because I know I'm forgetting some, and I know there was a great move for Aubameyang's goal against Palace. involving Ozil, Lacazette. I think even David Luiz, Xhaka might have as well. It was a lovely move. There's been a couple of times under Arteta specifically, we've kind of seen a bit more of that sort of thing. So I'm not too sure, man. That's a good question. It's put me on the spot still, my dude, man. It really has. But off the top of my head, I'll say Lacazette's in the defeat against Spurs. I wouldn't say goal of the season, but I enjoyed the goal where Martinelli set up Aubameyang. You know, he put it over the top against Spurs. Yeah, man. Obviously, Joe Willock's in the cup. You see, I'm starting to remember them. Joe Willock's thunderbolt against Liverpool in that defeat. That's got to be up there as well. You know, that's arguably up there with Lacazette's. That was a screamer still. You know, it's levels. So I need to watch all the goals again because it's a bad boy thing. Because, you know, Pepe might not have been the highest ranking game, but he tapped in 2 free kicks. You know, we've had some good passing moves. Joe Willock, as you've said as well, and as I've just remembered, lovely finesse goal, long range effort. But that Lacazette goal, I know we lost, but that Lacazette goal, I didn't expect it. Like, that's what I call a banger. So it's up there. It's a good one still, my guy, man. Like I said, I got to go home, well, I'm in my home, but go and do my research and come back again. But yeah, man, I answered it how I could answer it, man. Dante, has said, let me articulate this. When does bad form become permanent? For instance, a player has a bad couple of months. Is it form or has it gone worse? Hopefully that makes sense. My guy, you never know. You never know. Like, this is the thing, you know. You truly never know. Because you look at Alexis Sanchez. I know he's finding a little bit of form at Inter Milan. But when he was at Arsenal, I had certain and friends saying, nah, he's falling off. He's falling off. He's going by the wayside. He's kind of declining now. And I used to agree with it. And I could say I hear that. But I thought to a degree they're exaggerating. Because I used to have that thought as well. But I used to kind of think what the media was saying. Like, not that the media was playing it into me, but it's like what I saw. Because, you know, Alexis was running about and, you know, moaning at his teammates. I thought, you know what, he's so disillusioned. You know, I don't agree with the professionalism and how he handles himself. He's so disillusioned. He's not doing these things again. You know, at United, long story short, it was a costly signing, a free transfer. That's probably cost more than certain players that have had agents and transfer fees. So it's in hindsight, it's like Fernando Torres. He was kind of falling off at Liverpool. Again, I thought towards the end of his career at Liverpool, that when I say career, I mean that last little 6 months he was at Liverpool. He went to Chelsea. People were saying there's injuries, this, that, and the third. And then you saw it. And I think the truth, you never know. You never know. I think you just got to wing it, really. Judge it by eyes, in my opinion. And it's when it becomes apparent. Because football's weird, man. Some man will have a crap season and then they're backfiring. Some man will, you know, like you said, it will just be there and be there and be there. It's a difficult one. I don't think there's one easy answer for that. That's a great question, my dude. One that's going to make me ponder. You know what? You've just given me some video content idea, you know, my guy. I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. I'm not even going to cap to you, man. When does bad form become permanent? My guy, man, that's a good question. I don't have an answer, you know. That's a very good question. How do you know? I think it's a thing for the clubs, man. It's like, if you're obvious, you know what, it might be if you have statistics to hand, sort of thing, you know. Because imagine, you know, a player might be covering less ground, being less clinical with his chances, and you might see his injury record playing a part. You know, if you've got the data, it's different, innit? Because data might be telling you, you know, like if I'm a creative midfielder, you know, I've created the lowest chances I've created in the last 2 years, and all the lowest sort of stats. Obviously, you have to context things. Is he playing? Has he been injured? You know, these sort of things. But I'd say it's more a data thing. You've got to really just compare case studies and data. If you've got the data in front of you, it's easier to tell. But just with the eyes, it's very difficult on a case-by-case basis. But, you know, because a man could fall off, be on fire 1 year, fall off for 2 years. That 4th year that everyone was saying he was dead for them 2 years, he's now come back and showing man what he's on. It's a weird sort of time. It's a weird sort of time, man. But not to be ageist, because again, people are peaking, and you look at Aubameyang, Vardy, and Suarez. Even though Suarez ain't even at the best of his game, just statistically, I know Barca fans aren't happy with Suarez, but look at the statistics. You know, they're 3 top striking forwards in European football, and they're all the wrong side of 30. So people peak at different ages and stuff. But I would say you more got to quantify it with the age. Like, if someone's had 2 bad years at 20, is it peaking early? Because you do get the Cesc Fabregases, the Wayne Rooneys and things who, you know, on the balance of things, you would say they peaked early. You know, they really did. So it's a difficult one, you know. I'd say you really need the data in front of you. Good question, though. Live from Planet X has said, when you complain about the heat, what temperatures do you get in London? I don't know, man. Wasn't it 30 something odd? 30? I don't know if it was 38, 36, 34. I barely passed maths. I don't know for Fahrenheit and weather and these things, man. It's really bad, my guy. But I'm sure it was at 30 something, man. Someone in the comments help Donny, man, please, man, because he's another consistent supporter, and I'm quite upset that I can't answer his question to the way I can. Ethan Manners has said, do you think Arsenal will win the Premier League within the next 5 years? My Arsenal fan head is speaking, and I'm going to say, of course. But, I was saying this in year 7. I was saying, you know what? We're going to win the league soon. Year 10, we're going to pattern a league soon. Year 11, we're going to pattern soon. Like, it's been a minute still. Like, I didn't think I'll go through my whole... I thought year 7, year 11 be the latest I'd see us win the league title. So I don't know, my guy, man. I want to say, yeah, but all depends, man. I hope, Arteta does his thing. The young players, obviously, Saka, Martinelli, and players that might even come in, blossom. I hope we make the best signings. You never know, Being a football romantic, of course I want to say yes, but... if I was a betting man, you asked me to bet my life on it, I'd say no, because I'm not seeing anything to assume we're moving in that direction, excluding, obviously, my faith in Arteta. So I'm not going to go as far as to say I can, but speaking purely with my heart, I'm going to give it a yes, my guy. 10 million has said, how do you deal with not being appreciated for your ability/potential? Weird one. I always see that, man, and it does. I must admit, that might be one for the deluded thoughts, to be fair, my guy. If you don't want that, I do that. It might be one, because I never used to think much of it, but it's the more I started to see, oh yeah, you should have this many subscribers, man. Oh, you're underrated, man. You're this, that. It started to play on me. It's like I don't get too caught up on the positives or the negatives, because if I get caught up on all your positive messages as much as I'm thankful for it, I might start getting complacent and thinking I'm better than I am, and I don't have to do things in a several sort of way. For obvious reasons, you feed too much into the negative, you're going to end up quitting and all of these sort of things. So I don't like to really get hung up. I like to keep a steady head and just focus on what I need to focus on. But I must admit, when you do see something several times, you're thinking, right, like, is man going to keep being underrated for time? What these lot are saying, like, is it going to happen for man? Like, because I've seen some talented musicians. I always use musicians as an example, because football and music is all a guy really knows. You see so many good musicians in the UK, like, as an example now. Like, you go back 10 years ago, you're someone like Joe Black, someone who I think is one of the hardest. If the dynamics were the same now, he would definitely blow. But for whatever factor, he didn't, get to make a real change of music, some real money off music, like people with lesser talent than him. Was he too ahead of his time? Was he in the wrong place, wrong time? Could he have done things differently? I always think this, and, that's what scares me as well. Like, but I always think cream always rises to the top, man. If I just keep the hunger, keep focused, I can achieve any goal I want and get there. Everybody gets their time, and when my time comes, because it's been so hard to get there, I'm not trying to lose it anytime soon. So man's trying to be ready. I'm trying to be like Mo Salah. People weren't really, certain people might have been saying he's decent at Chelsea, he's this, that and the other. He said, alright, cool, I'm going to certify myself. He went Roma and Liverpool. Everybody sees he's a star. Kevin De Bruyne. Everyone could see his potential. Better example, to be fair. Everyone could see his potential. But for one reason or another, he didn't get to break through the door at Chelsea. Let's say Chelsea, in this analogy, is the industry. He said, F you lot. Alright, cool. Say nothing. Wait me. We're going to be back. He went Wolfsburg, did his thing. Finally got a bone thrown at him by some platform, being City. And look at him, he's ran away with it, and he's one of the best players in history of the Premier League. And listen, I'm not a City fan, but I have to say he probably is a Premier League and Manchester City legend, if not already. So I would say just focusing on myself, just knowing one day I'm going to get my time, cream's going to rise to the top, and just knowing, just having that self-assurance, really and truly. Obviously, like I said, appreciated's a mad word, because I wouldn't say, because nobody owes me nothing. Nobody owes me nothing in this world. Nobody owes me a chance. Nobody owes me anything. Like, no matter how much I have a passion for something or whatever, nobody is going to give me anything. Nobody owes me something. So I can't get upset about that. Like, I was, obviously, when you do see, it's not like you're jealous or anything, but you're thinking, rah, like, when I used to work with True Geordie's show as a production assistant with my organisation that left there, there was people on this show, I'd see them and they'd have, not that it means anything, less subscribers than me, less knowledge than me, but they're sitting there at that table and man's, doing admin or going and making sure all the stock is calm and stuff. Man was like, rah, like, does man really have to be twice as good in this dynamic? Or like, rah, like, what's really going on here? But then I just thought to myself, you know what, your time will come, man. Like, the time will come, man. Like, as for potential, I find it scary when people say you can be this, you do that, do this and do that. Not because I believe I can't do it. I believe I can. But I don't want to you know, fail my potential. So because of that, I'm not really focused on stuff. I'm just trying to move forward since yesterday. To be honest, I always find myself like, how can I get there? Because let's be honest, in the most humblest way, like I should be able to make a full-time living from this. Probably should have some more subscribers, probably should be more of a household name. But is that facts or is that my ego? Because you look at the analytics, they say yes, but the ego might say no. Do you get it? So it's a tough one, my guy, man. But I'd say just, you know, those who know, the real know in it. Like, eventually, you know, people speak. For me, I just want to be undeniable, like I told you. Like, there's going to be a time in my life where I've achieved all the goals I want. I've got all the skills I want within relation to this. I've got what I need. And I'm undoubtedly good at, good at everything. So I can't be denied. You can love me, you can hate me, you can say you don't like me. But I'm fucking good at what I do. And until that day comes, I can't really be angry, my guy. Really and truly, I'll keep it 100. But it will come, man. It's not coming anytime soon, but it will come. And as much as I said that, yeah, I can feel the sweat coming down my face. Moving forward, Emma said, this guy is a personal friend. Can DG make the step up to Can DG make the step up to a midfield role from being a fullback? This is in relation to my Sunday League team. For those who don't know, we lost 4-2 last week. I played left back, right back, and central midfield. If we're claiming getting a penalty as an assist, man, got a young assist. You know, I did the little wheelchair going one way, bus out the next way down the right wing. You know, I was a right back living the movie. Then in my head, I'm thinking, yo, we're living the movie. We got it, cross it. Done a little bad boy cross, you know, my crossing was a bit off that game, really and truly. Passing was what my crossing was, and it hit the hand. And that actually came from when I was playing in midfield. When I was playing at fullback, it was annoying because there was no options in midfield. Left back, I had to do it for the team because there was an injury and a tactical change. Mash, I don't know, my guy, man. It's a fitness thing. Right now, man's trying to just do fullback, get the fitness, pattern the fitness first. Because I can't lie, it's a lot of running in midfield. Within relation to our team, I don't feel our midfield unit is collectively good enough. Like, I want to go with a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, flat midfield 3. I don't think we've got enough progressive midfielders. I don't think we've got that. You see, for me, it's taking a bit of getting used to because physically it is quite demanding. I can pass the ball, I can try find a pass, but I've never been, you know, the Mesut Ozil. So, and I'd say with our team, we're lacking that. We're lacking players of genuine technical quality. There is a few, but a lot. So I kind of find myself having to try and take that on myself. And that's taking a bit of getting used to because I've always been the guy in teams where, you know, no disrespect, like, let's look at the Invincibles. You know, you had Vieira, you had Henry, you had all of these guys that could do things. And then you had Lauren. Lauren might get involved here and there, do you get it? But or Barcelona, you've got Xavi, Iniesta, Messi. Like, I'm not none of them guys. You get it? They're the man that make things happen. But man can do the little Dani Alves. I can support the thing. I'm not gonna let it down. So it's taking a bit of getting used to. I'd say it's a bit weird in midfield as well because for me, I'd like to play further forward in the midfield. I want to play the 10. You know, my thing, take shots and stuff. So it's a bit weird doing the Kante role. For me, in play, like receiving it off the centre halves, just because it feels a bit weird because I'm used to being able to receive the ball from the half turn and being basically on the line. So it is taking a bit of use to knowing. I know I'm always aware if I've got time or not, but knowing how much time I have, equally it is tough playing when they're pressing. So I think with time I can make the transition. But right now, club secretary, as you are, in fact, now you're the director of football. So go and get your you go and earn your stripes, like I'm asking with Arsenal, bro. I'm gonna message you after this because you play. Whether I know you, we went to school. Go and bring in the signings, bro. Big up Niall, you know, he came, he knows, I signed him, you got it sorted. But we need the players, bro. We need the players. Go and bring us a midfielder. Stop watching Deluded and go and make the signings, my guy. But I feel in time. Right now, let me just get the fitness up, do the fullback thing for now. You know, in a month or so, we start begging and playing in midfield and stuff. We keep it up in training, man. But shout out to Arnold, the manager. And for those of you that are interested, or if you're local and you're interested in getting involved in the team, please come down to AFC Edmonton. Please, follow them on Twitter. I'm sure a lot of you we just a bunch of lads that play football. I mainly do a little bit of coaching here and there. I fill in when needed to be filled in. But, you know, it's run by a friend of mine. He's trying to do something positive, especially, you know, with knife crime and stuff. He's trying to provide opportunities for people to do things, you know. You don't necessarily have to be a footballer, you know, come down and support the thing. You know, if you want to be a coach and you're trying to get your badges, come down and, you know, give you a facility to do that. Whatever sort of thing that you can get experience, come and do it, man. Please, we need people, man. Players as well, man. And I know some of you are ballers. Please make sure we train on Wednesdays, people. So by the time this comes out, you'd miss it. But Please, man, especially if you're local to North London. Not that it matters. You can be from anywhere. If you know, if you live in Surrey and you want to come true, my brothers. But make sure, man. And you know, just because it's a men's team, women don't feel no sort of way, man. Come down and support in some sort of way, man. Especially the buff things, you know, and things set. But actually, let me stop saying stuff like that, cause I'm gonna get myself in trouble. But you know, things set. But moving forward and remaining professional, folks. Remaining completely professional. Now you see what, this is why I don't like answering the man them's questions, car it gets a bit mad. But SFN has asked, I respect the fact that your knowledge isn't just in mainstream football but down to semi-pro and academy. So my question is, what is it that interests you so much in following the non-mainstream players? I like to follow anything I physically can, man. Like the same enthusiasm I have for Arsenal's young players is the same I get for football at the equivalent at youth level and things like that. I just love football. I will watch football all day. I don't care if it's Sunday League. I don't care if it's Premier League. I wanted to be a footballer, so I tried my best to live and indulge that, you know. I used to bunk school to go watch Spurs and Arsenal's academy just to see what my age group was doing. I never had a snowball's chance of being a baller, but this is why it's like, I'm a fan of football. I fucking love Arsenal Football Club. I die for Arsenal Football Club. I do some serious stuff to work a day at Arsenal, to even go on the pitch. Not a funny boy thing. But I'm a fan of football first, Arsenal second, and I think that serves me well. I know we're all tribal to a degree. I know football's a very tribal thing, but I love football at its base level, and you know, I think that's the best way. Apologies for that, SFN, man. Like, you know, obviously my camera at least can only record for a certain period of time. So like I was saying, that's the best way to answer your question. Just an outright knowledge of, or a thirst for knowledge of all sorts of football, really, because that's what it's about, man. The same passion I have for, like I said, playing on a Sunday or whatever with my mates is the same way I take to watching, obviously, Arsenal at senior level, because at base level, it's just one team trying to put the ball in the back of the net ahead of the other. Thanks for your question. Tariq asks, how old are you? 25, my guy. Do you play football? If so, what position? I'm a right back. Right back. Who's your favourite player? Let me rephrase that. I'm a right back, but you know, if you want to play man in the 10 role, let me live a movie or play up front. Let me score some goals. I don't mind. Kind of like how Maitland-Niles wants to play centre mid, but it's a full-back thing. But either way, you've asked who's your favourite player. It's got to, there's many, man. It's got to be Thierry Henry. I'm going to say the first three that come to mind, man. Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, and R9. Really? Say that, man. If I have to slide in a fourth, in fact, I know I said three, but Patrick Vieira's got to be there for me as well, man. Along with Dani Alves. Also Iniesta, to be fair. I loved Iniesta. Can't not love Lionel Messi. Cristiano will be here all day, man. But yeah, man. They're my favourite ballers if you've got to ask Neymar. So yeah. Bees asked, do you think Martinelli and Saka can cement their place in the starting lineup over the course of next season? Or do you think they need more time? I don't think there's a rush. I think Saka's proven, you know, where Saka's at the level, same as Martinelli, but focusing on Saka right now. He's an outright first teamer. Obviously, he's still young, and like I keep preaching, it sounded like a broken record. He's going to go through, you know, sadly, injuries. It's an occupational hazard. With injuries, you lose your rhythm and stuff. When you're young, you know, you're kind of fresh. You can go again week in, week out. But as he gets older, his body's going to change. Things that he used to be able to do, he's going to have to work on. Things he never knew he could do, he's going to discover. Different weaknesses, and he's going to learn about himself. And as he gets older, he's going to have to change the way he plays. But right now, he cemented himself as a genuine first team option, you know, in the same way that, you know, Pepe ideally, because we spent 70 odd million, you want it to be, you know, like Aubameyang, you know, your first name on the team sheet. There's no way that we're playing without you, sort of thing. But he's a genuine option to either play on that right hand side, if not Pepe, or obviously compete within a position in the front three positions. Obviously not up front, but the flanks, you get it. Obviously shown he can fill in that fullback whether he likes it or not, because he, you know, I'm sure if he'd never want to be a fullback, but he can do it, and it's an option you'd have to consider, and he's a genuine option there. In fact, you know, for me, it's Tierney, but Saka's a worthy guy there. It's neck and neck, and if Tierney, God forbid, gets injured, you're looking at Saka. And again, people like Elijah Nat's been in the game longer than him. No disrespect to Big Cola, but at the same time, Saka's a better option than him there now. Obviously, it's down to Saka, like Mustafi and Luiz have done to degrees over the course of this season, to make that statement I just said sound stupid, you get it? But Saka's shown, even in the midfield, we know centre mid is not going to be him, but he's shown he can there. So he's a genuine option. So obviously it's just down to Saka to obviously keep his feet on the ground, keep developing and things. He's young, so we don't need to force it. Again, he's earned his place, and at times we've needed him because we've just been a shambles. But ideally, I want to give him a little break. It was sad, you know, to him see him not play any real part of the FA Cup final. Obviously, I'm not criticising the tactics, but he looks tired up to a degree. So we need to manage him and stuff. We've got to be careful with this. At the same time, when you're young, you're good to go. But we've got to remember his age and stuff. And, you know, remember, such has been his rise and stuff. You know, I could sit here and speak all day about Bukayo. But at the same time, you know, we've got to remember his age. And the same goes for Martinelli, you know. People knew of Saka in the academy and stuff. Martinelli, obviously everybody claims they're watching him, but beyond when we got linked with him, you lot know me, I like to watch youth football and stuff. I had no clue of who he is, you know. Obviously, if you're in the footballing world, he went Barca, you know, he went United on trial, so people are aware. And if you're, you know, following that league and that team, fair play. But I didn't know. I just saw a young man come in at £6 million, Brazilian and that, look good in the clip scene. They said, well, the reports we saw is that he was going to link up with the 23s first. And he clearly showed the coaching staff in Emery that, yo, listen, with all due respect, I'm not here for the youth football thing. Respect me. I'm doing this thing. And he was patient. And, you know, he had to play Europa League and things. And then he got his chance, man. Obviously, what was it? Forgive me if I'm wrong, it was West Ham away, you know, he scored in that, and obviously he's got a good moment for himself scoring at the Bridge, and for me, he's a genuine option, you know. I think he's a striker long term. I see a bit of Alexis Sanchez in him. I know he's a different player, equally can kite on the flanks and stuff. I just think long term he's a striker. He's got good, even in the first pre-season, he was showing, you know, he's got good movement. It can be trained and there's things he got to go through, but he's got that natural South American knack to score goals. You know, that Sergio Aguero, that they were born to score goals. I like Martinelli. He's hungry for this, and I love watching him. Like I said, I think he's a striker long term. Left wing is probably his favoured, not his favoured, but where he'd probably fit in. I know there's a Aubameyang and there's another debate, but there's that. I can't remember the team, but he played right wing one time for us, and he didn't necessarily have the best of games, and people were crying that he needs to play on the left. That's true, but at the same time, for me, I believe, especially with football, obviously you want to lock down one position, but you should be able to affect the team well, you know. He's a good enough player to be as devastating from the right as the left, and like I said, long term up front, because that's where I see him. Like, obviously Alexis, you probably prefer him on the left, but he could clearly excel on the right hand side if need be, and he's shown that he could be a striker, obviously with Wenger in that. And that's what I see a bit of Martinelli. I see him as a striker long term, able to do the rest, and I think he can. The difference with Martinelli is, unfortunately, he's had a good season, but it's been disrupted by an injury, and he's not coming back until the end of the year, early Jan. Just because he's fit and scheduled to be back, it doesn't mean he's ready to necessarily kick a ball and play, so we don't know his rehabilitation phase. But I see no reason as why not, because again, we still got to remember that age, but at the same time, them two youngsters in particular, they're not, with all due respect to the other young players, for me, they're not like the other young players. Like, they've taken to this sort of thing. And when I speak to my friends about football and stuff, my friends, like, I got a lot of friends who like youth football, but some don't really care. Like my brother-in-law, like, don't really, it's not that he don't care, he supports it, but it's like, you know, fans that they're a bit harsh. Like, I like that, they're very harsh. They're like, and then you look at it, and they'll say things like, you see Martinelli, you see Saka, you see Greenwood and Foden. If you're not with it like that in terms of taking to the senior game, the men's senior game, then I'm not really with it. Obviously, we know people develop. Not everybody's ready at 17, 18. But I do kind of get it when they say things like that, because if you're not with it, you're not with it. But I think they've both shown that they're genuine. It's not an age thing with them two. Like I said, we consider their age, but it's not an age thing. They're genuine first team options when fit, when training well, and it's just down to them to keep giving Arteta a positive headache. And, you know, there's so many, Saka and Martinelli have been breath of fresh airs, and it sounds cliche, but they're almost like two signings, because where were they at the start of the year? Yeah, we saw Martinelli in pre-season, but apart from coming off the bench and playing cup games, you know, until we saw who Martinelli was really on, you know, he wasn't really a player like that. Saka, we knew he was doing good things in the youth academy. How could you not know Bukayo Saka being an Arsenal fan? But he's not, where was he? He was actually behind Joe and Nelson at the start, you know. Remember Newcastle, Burnley, where was he in the matchday squad? He's emerged as a genuine option, and that's what you want to see. Players with this academy scouting, whatever we've needed to do, sourced from abroad that can, you know, come to this team, and with resale value, something to consider for the future. Saka's come from Hale, and it sounds cliche, but how much is Saka going to show in future how much he saved his club if he goes for a transfer fee? Because you know, even Maitland-Niles is off topic, but he's made 100 appearances for this club. He could get sold for 30 million. You know, I think Maitland-Niles should stay in all of these sort of things. But when you look at it as a numbers game and as a business, it takes literally, what, 2-3 max mil, I believe, to keep Hayland Academy running a year. Maitland-Niles has come through the academy, played 100 times and been sold off for 30 million. That's a success story, because you can put a few bob to the side for operations in the club, and you can put some towards a transfer kitty. Do you get it? Similar to a Iwobi. And that's what you want this club to do. You want to see the Sakas and Maitland-Niles and Nelsons and these guys who can cut their teeth to some level at this level, prove that they can make it here. If not, we make some money. And we want to see players scouted, because this is what we want to do. We want to find the players of tomorrow, or players that, if they're like mid-20s to late 30s, you want to know that, you know, they're ballers. They're just, no one's giving them a chance, because we, like Raul said, we got outsmart the market, my guy. Good question, B, man. I've spent way too long on that, man. I forgot I'm actually doing the Q&A. Apologies. I can't pronounce your name, so forgive me for being rude and that, my guy. But Minor, it's not Minor, it's Manihor. I can't, my guy, man. I apologize. I'm not trying to make a mock of you of that. But you said, I'll just call you M. You've asked me basically my thought about the rebuilding process of Arsenal for long-term success. You've said there's also, does the idea of a young player at times misleading? The value of experience in a very young squad. I look at regarding Willian. I think you need balance. It sounds cliche, but life is about achieving balance. Football is about balance, you know. In an ideal squad, you want a balance in defence, you want a balance in midfield of different profile midfielders, you want different man up front, you want players that can play in tight spaces, players that can play far, and there's no difference with the age in that. Like I said in a previous question, ranting and raving about Martinelli and Saka, but at times, you know, they've shone when you're kind of looking at this more senior players and thinking, what's going on? And as much as we need players for tomorrow, we need players for today. Like, you know, with all due respect to Willian, you know, it's a bit it's an annoyance because it's a bit of an underwhelming signing. You know, I don't think he's a bad player. He'll have nothing but my support. But it's not really inspiring. But at the same time, he's here for now. If he can help us do something now, in the same way Aubameyang's not, he's here for 3 years max. I wouldn't call that tomorrow. We need people for now. So you can never discount experience. I do think it's thrown around, and I think experience is disproportionate, because you can be young but played 100 career appearances. You know, you're an experienced individual. You can be old, and you know, we've seen some players been through the game, played for their countries, making the same mistakes. So it's about the right experience, the right players, because you know, experience means nothing if you're 32 and making errors in the defence and them things there. It doesn't make sense. But moving forward, anyways, Lemeke said, you've watched Martinelli, you've just rewatched a couple of Martinelli's games, and his link up with Saka is insane. Do you think we lack a right back with the same qualities as Saka in the ability to overlap? Well, I assume you mean when Saka plays at fullback, and I would say, yeah, I mean, Bellerin's clearly felt some sort of way about Arteta's comments in the press about that sort of thing, because you saw him try and do that a bit more. Cedric Suarez is a tiny bit better going forward than Bellerin, but he's a bit underwhelming. Maitland-Niles, you know, he's been in the squad then out the squad. He's probably the best out of the right backs in my opinion going forward and in the final third. And you know, a mixture of injuries and other sort of headlines, we've not had a consistent sort of right back to do things and really cement a partnership with Pepe and look as dangerous as we do on the left with the many combinations with Tierney and Saka, with Saka and Aubameyang, with Tierney and Aubameyang, you know. Xhaka always pulls over to the left hand side and gets involved, you know. David Luiz is always trying to hit balls into the channels, but the left hand side in particular. So yeah, man. Pollux has said, hypothetically, what do you feel Guendouzi would have to do to repair his relationship and put himself back in the plans? Eat humble pie first and foremost. Hold your hands up and say, yo, listen, while I might not agree with everything, I am sorry, because, you know, this has been a headline for the club. Through my actions, you know, I've not been able to offer my part to help the team. I've obviously missed out on the FA Cup final. I've just missed out on playing games and, you know, having my name in the headlines for the right reasons. So say you're sorry, pay whatever fines. If that, you know, make a gesture to the squad, you know, take them out and that, you know, cover the tab. Just mend the issues and really show that you've patterned up, you know, and really tell Arteta, you know what, extend the olive branch, white flag, say I'm sorry, you're the coach, I'm the player, you know, I'm going to try and temper my attitude in the right way. And after that, he just has to work, you know. He probably will not be in the side for a minute. Probably nothing would change. He just has to work hard, bite his lip, can keep going and then wait for when his chance comes and grab it. That's all he can do, you know. But pride is a big thing, and first and foremost, he'd probably have to, as a fan, from what I'm seeing anyway, swallow his pride, say I'm sorry, you know, say I'm sorry to other members of the team as well, above Arteta, you know, because it seems like he's disrupted members of the hierarchy, and they had a feeling about Guendouzi prior, based on reports. So I'd say that's all he can do, and I'd say mainly, just from a sporting perspective, work very hard, like, because you have to wait, you know. You try and work to the point where you can, you know, Arteta's naming you on the sub bench again, you know. I'm pretty sure, with all due respect to Matt Smith, you know, FA Cup winner technically without playing a minute, I would have felt... People, I can't lie, I'm going to have a nightmare trying to edit this and put it together, people. I can't lie, as I was answering your questions, I don't know what it was. I think there's a problem with the battery on my camera. Obviously, I've gone and fixed that, or I hope I fixed that, gone out and bought another one. So I had to put a hold to it. So yeah, man, it's about 5 a.m. in England. I can't lie, I'm very tired, people. But I've got something to finish off, so I apologise for any, you know, inconvenience I've caused, but I'm working with limited resources and I'm trying as hard as I can, people. So cut the guy a bit of slack. But let's move on to the final leg of questions asked via the YouTube community tab. Thank you very much for such, people. Let's start with George's opinions. You don't talk much about Jonathan David as much as you do Szoboszlai. How much do you rate the Canadian? I think he's spectacular. That's deep, man. I just like Szoboszlai a lot, and I think, you know, there's a need for more of a midfielder than a striker at Arsenal. I like him a lot. You know, you've seen in recent days he's gone to Lille. You know, he's come over from North America, found his way in Belgium, got some experience, got some senior development. He's going to Lille, a team which will allow him to get his feet wet, develop, and then, you know, he probably will move on to a bigger club, or, you know, a sort of medium to large club, and then join a gigantic club if his potential takes him that way, like his countryman, you know, what's his face? What's his name again? Davis of Bayern Munich. Of course, he went straight to Bayern Munich, but you get it. He's gone to Lille. It's a step up. You know, it's a team that gets young players in, gives them experience. Obviously, there's the selling model, so it ties in with Lille. Same way his team in Belgium made a profit. Lille will make a profit, and you've seen that with Pepe, Osimhen to Napoli. Gabriel's expected to join Napoli or Manchester United or Arsenal, depending on what you read. So it ties up very well, and I'm keen to see how he does in the French league and things, because, you know, he was sort of an unknown entity until towards the end of last season. Now he's a known person. People are going to look at him, and I like him a lot. You know, he can run, he makes good runs, he's got good movement. You know, he takes some stopping when he gets into his stride. Shown he's a competent finisher. Good movement, doesn't always see the full picture, but a very good player nonetheless. John Doe has said, why is it so hard to get rid of Arsenal? Can't the club just pay him off like United did with Alexis? I don't think they paid him off. I think he's actually gone to Inter Milan, and part of his wages is going to be paid. The problem with Ozil is it is going to be costly. Do you let him stay out another year? Do you pay the 18 to 20 million pounds that his contract is worth, or do you offer him out on loan or a free transfer? The problem with a free transfer is, you know, many people will look at Ozil and be entertained by that, regardless of if you think he's good or not. It's the numbers, you know. It is a costly outlay. Even if Arsenal loan him out, you know, would you really want to pay for someone who, you know, his ability is amazing, but hasn't been, the last 2-3 years, hasn't actually been doing anything of note? So of such, would you want to pay a loan fee and foster the bulk of his wages to get him to the club when you don't even know if Mesut Ozil is going to give you 10 assists, sort of thing, people? It would be silly. So yeah, John, I don't think it's the same, people. You've asked top 5 players Arsenal should go and sign from just recently relegated clubs. That's a tough one, really and truly. You know, I wouldn't mind a couple of Norwich boys as well. You know, Ben Godfrey, I think he's quite raw at the moment, but there's development to be done. Wouldn't mind Buendia of Norwich, wouldn't mind Cantwell of Norwich, wouldn't mind, I do think people overrate Max Aarons, but wouldn't mind Max Aarons at all. Jamal Lewis could do a job at left back as well when required, so that's about 5 names. What other teams got relegated? Bournemouth, I'm not really feeling anybody. I do think Josh King can get a move. Ake's already got a move, and there's a couple of players that can get moves per se, but I'm not really feeling it. So who went down? I can't even remember. Norwich, Bournemouth. Who went down? Norwich, Bournemouth. People, who went down? Premier League table. Because it weren't Villa, they beat the drop. That's it. Watford. Throw in Decore to that list, Sarr to that list. You know, Capoue can get a move, not to Arsenal, but can get a move somewhere, I believe. So I think that answers your question, my guy. I completely forgot Watford are down. Apologies, it's early in the morning. Moving forward, Trayvon has said, do you believe playing Aubameyang central would lead to more goals is slightly overstated, considering that a lot of leading goal scorers over the years have come from slightly wider positions? Not too sure, to be honest. I personally think, you know, you play him in the middle, he gets more chances, he scores more goals purely because you're in that area. But I also believe that, I agree with you, yes, it is overstated, because I do think, you know, we want Aubameyang through the middle. In an ideal world, he's through the middle, on the last shoulder, consistent movement, and we've got players that can find him. How many Aubameyang goals has he scored? There's not too many goals in his catalogue where he's got to run into space. You know, he's shown it against City twice, he's shown it against Spurs when Guendouzi set him up, you know, he's shown it against either Everton or Newcastle, one of them teams. You know, he's got elite movement, and people don't speak about it. What if Aubameyang doesn't have a problem? I'm not talking about doing a job for the team, I'm talking about he doesn't have a problem out wide. You know, he's played out there before. What if he actually likes playing out there? So I do think it's a bit different for Aubameyang, because Aubameyang, you know, he has scored goals from outside the area, but he lives in the penalty box. So by that logic, the closer you are to goal, the more opportunities you probably can score. You know, so I do think it is. You know, if you're a good goal scorer, you're going to score goals anywhere within reason. Like you said, you know, you've got Mo Salah, Mane, who they're not exactly wingers, but they're inside forwards. Sterling, they're still scoring goals. So the best, and technically Aubameyang's been playing like that and still score goals. So if you're good enough, you'll score goals everywhere. But it's no coincidence, you play your men through the middle, they probably get more opportunities, in my opinion. And you never know, that 22 league goals could be 25 or 27, I don't know. So good question nonetheless, man. But people forget that Aubameyang likes that movement, he likes to run into this space, and he likes to hang on the last shoulder, all of which you get playing out wide. So I'm keen to see what happens next season. Diabolical has said, why do you think there are a lack of world-class centre-halves in today's game? Not too sure, man. I do think, you know, even the centre-halves we praise about being world-class, are they really world-class, or are they just the best of a bad bunch? I don't know. I think it's a bit like strikers. Yes, there's an abundance of good strikers, but I do think, you know, quality, you know, real number 9s. I did feel growing up in the early 2000s, there was, maybe it's nostalgia, but it felt like there was more widespread number 9s. Now there's obviously good number 9s, but you can't really find them. I'm not talking about, you know, if you was a club that wanted a striker, there used to be a time where your team could get a certified number 9, whether you're a relegated club, trying to win the Prem, whatever you're doing. Now you can get that, but you're overpaying for mediocre players, and that could be said in many positions, and I think centre-half is one of them. I don't know if it's ball playing, because I do think ball playing is a requirement of today's game, and if I was a manager, I would want to see it. But I do, and it's a bit like goalkeeping. I'm seeing goalkeepers good with their feet, poor with their hands. I don't care how much the game advances, that's wrong. And likewise, I see defenders able to play a good pass, but they're not able to track a runner, they're not able to play someone offside, they're not able to push up a line. So I do think the lines, maybe it's just a cycle thing. Maybe the lines have been blurred with what the modern game requires. Maybe, you know, refereeing and fouling has made defending a bit different. I do think almost centre-halves of today, really, compared to their predecessors, I do think they struggle to concentrate for large periods of times. Maybe it's a cycle thing, I don't know, my guy, man. Good question, though. But that's the best way I can answer that for you. Agent Ghost has said, which players from each top 6 club, excluding Arsenal, do you dislike the most? I don't dislike any players, really and truly, off the top of my head. Like, I don't have time to really pour hate into these players, but, you know, Spurs players, for obvious tribal reasons, will throw them into the debate. I wouldn't say I hate anybody, to be fair. Like, I love Robertson, but Robertson's one of them players I would say if he doesn't play for your team, you can find him a bit of a C next Tuesday. But I don't think I can go as far as to name 6 players, my guy. So yeah, man. You've also said, rumour has it Emre would like to swap Guendouzi at Villarreal. Would like to take Guendouzi at Villarreal. Would you accept a straight swap for Paul Torres? They'd be selling themselves short. But yes, I would. You've also said, why didn't you go to the AFTV FA Cup watch along? Nobody invited, man. So why am I going to go and bread it? It's that simple. Moving forward, though, Ashley said, do you watch any other football-related YouTubers? Nope, not in particular. I cannot even lie. Like, I just drop my own videos and then go to watch actual football. But there are some YouTubers I keep a close eye on. You know, Hugh Izzy being one of them. Very good YouTuber, and he's always got time for me and things like that. But other than that, there's not too many. And I've been asked that question before, and I've said the names already. So hopefully that answers your question, my guy. So SK said, do you think football now is becoming an athleticism game rather than a knowledge game in the midfield area? I wouldn't go as far as to say it's not knowledge, because tactics are at an all-time high. You know, you've got to really be concentrated. Managers are always giving information. But I definitely feel obviously there's still technical players, there's still technical quality, but athleticism is what's running it. Midfield, it's all about dynamism. How much can you run? Again, technical ability is a big part of it, but it's about how much can you run. So I would say athleticism, you know, football works in cycles. There was a period before where athleticism, whether you were small or tall, because it doesn't always, you can be big and not really be powerful. You can be short and powerful, do you get it? I think we're seeing that again, people. You know, football works in cycles. We're seeing athleticism take the fray. Hopefully we can find a good Patrick Vieira who had the technical qualities and the physical qualities. So good question, SK. Emmanuel said, do you think Mesut Ozil would do well in Italy or a country with a slower pace of football? Based on that logic, I say yes, but I mean, Ozil's a pretty quick thinker with a football, so I think he'd fare well wherever he played, typically throughout his career. Seta said, what's your view on our relationship with Kaya Jarupkin and us moving to use a relationship with agents more than scouts? Well, obviously for me, I want balance. I want us to have one central way of doing it, which, you know, at the moment, if we're doing this youngster thing, times for tomorrow, stars for tomorrow, we need to have the best scouts or scouts in areas where we can find them. Equally, I'm open to utilising agents and contact books to see what players we can get, provided they fit the profile. Or if they're different from the profile, how do they add up? Like, let's just say we didn't have Aubameyang, we're going for this youngster thing. Like I said, you know, Kaya Jarupkins, for argument's sake, is Aubameyang's agent. He brings us this player, which, you know, he's 30, 31. He doesn't already, on base level, without exclude Aubameyang, like exclude the fact it's Aubameyang for a sec, you know, he doesn't fit into, you know, the youngster stars of tomorrow thing. But we've liaised with an agent. The player might not fit our philosophy per se, but he's a gunman in front of goal. His 20 league goals that he can give us in the next 2 years or so is going to be crazy. So let's bring him into the team. So I don't mind utilising agents and things. The problem does be when I'm looking at it and you're going, there's certain names that we're going for, or we're not addressing certain areas. So I don't mind utilising agents generally, but even in the signing of William, when William comes, he'll have my support. But I pray to God it works, because there's serious question marks to answer. Did you get it, people? Especially, and then you're giving David Luiz new deals and things. With all due respect, it does almost look like a sort of social club. If it goes right, it goes right. If it goes wrong, you're looking at it sideways. Rowan has said, realistically, how many players do you think Arsenal will sign this summer? How long's a piece of string? I'm a fan like you. I don't have a clue. I'd like to think 3 minimum, just as myself as a fan. Samuel has said, congrats DG on how far you've come and almost at 30k. Thank you, my guy. No celebrations until we get 30. My question is, do you think Arteta plans on utilising a 4-3-3 over a 4-2-3-1? I think he'll use both of them. I think he will go for a 4-2-3-1 if he can get a creative midfielder in, purely people, because it matches up better. I don't think he'll go for a flat midfield three, but it's something he might have to cover. But then again, if we just go on the basis of names we're linked with, you know, Xhaka, Ceballos and Partey, they've all got different individual qualities, and that's a decent midfield. But when you look at it going forward, you know, Ceballos is decent with a ball. Xhaka's got a good passing range. Partey, you know, is box to box and can get up there. Are they screaming goals, assists, being able to dictate tempo, being able to break down teams that play low blocks, 2 banks of 4? That's a question we'd have to answer. I'm a 4-3-3 man by trade, so I hope that's the case. Yeah. 1-1 has said, how optimistic are you about next season? As optimistic as I can be without seeing any signings. You know, I've got all the faith in Arteta, but we're looking at the financial issues the club is going through, the current playing staff. I just hope for a proper push for top 4. Same way, I just want from August to the end of May, I want us to be in with a shout mathematically, and I'm talking proper mathematically, not the Wenger, with all due respect to Wenger, as long as it's mathematical possible, we will fight. I'm talking, 3 points max, 4 points max that you're off with games in hands and stuff. That's all I'm hoping for. Can we do that with this current existing playing staff? I don't believe so, because they'll be, like they've shown you, every individual player will have bouts of good form. The team collectively will go through good moments, but when the going is tough, we've shown that we're gonna bottle it. So I can't, until I see new signings, until I see how the team's shaping up with Arteta getting more time with them tactically, I don't know. You've also asked me, are you becoming concerned about us being linked with so many wingers and attackers, no defenders or central mid players? Obviously, as a fan, when you're not being linked with some, you could say yes, but I'd also say no, because we are being linked with quite a few centre-halves and midfielders, my guy. And also, being linked with players doesn't equal actually signing them, People were saying Arsenal's financial picture was bleak last season. We turned around and bought Pepe and Ceballos on loan, and it was a decent period. So I hope the club are working on things. I'm reserved until September, whatever the window closes. I think they've changed it, but we'll have to see. Innocent Appier said, where are the FM vids? Allow me, bro, allow me. I'm getting on that, man. I've had no time, and with all due respect, you lot don't pay me, so I can only do so much with the free time I have. I only have certain 24 hours in a day. I will get on it, trust me, my guy, man. I've been slacking in that, but it is what it is. Kaiju said, I'd like to get your thoughts on 3 former Arsenal players whom I think had rather fascinating careers. How would you view them whilst at the club, and how do you rate their careers as a whole? Joel Campbell, Arshavin and Alex Song. I wouldn't go as far as to say fascinating careers. For Alex Song, at the end of the day, they've all had good careers. Joel Campbell has gone from a humble lad in Costa Rica to playing for Arsenal, playing in Italy, playing in Spain, playing for several different nations. And considering what life could have been like, he's had a good career for himself. Arshavin's had a decent career, and out of all 3 is the one I've got the most highest regards for. When we signed Arshavin, it was at a time where that could be considered a big money signing for Arsenal, and I fell in love instantly with the little Russian man. He's, the technical abilities, the goals he scored, the ability to work in tight angles, very decent player. Alex Song, I got a lot of time for. I like him a lot. Do you think Arsenal fans overrated him a lot and painted him as this crazy defensive mid when he was anything further than that? But I like him. Like I said, man, he's earned finances to set up his future for him and his family through football. And, he was a fond member. And, at the end of the day, he's the one that set up, if I remember correctly, against Leeds when Henry returned. So I got a lot of time for all 3 of them. Once you play for Arsenal, I've got a lot of time for you. Philip has said, what's your favourite ever home and away kit? Get asked that question quite frequently. Away, I'd say the 2004 yellow and blue one, and I'd probably say the same home kit in that season if I had to pick. Yeah. Osama said, if we can't get Ceballos, would you take Comrade Lema? Would he be a better option at that price range? What do you think of him? I think he's a decent player, but I would pass personally. Otis has said, Oshin, forgive me, has said, what position do you think we should play Willian in? I've done a video about this, but, I do think for me, you play him on the left-hand side, you move Aubameyang through the middle, but I can understand if he was going to be put in that sort of 10 position ahead of someone like Joe Willock. Hunter what do you think of Thomas Partey? I think he's a good player. Omar said, are you getting increasingly worried that we won't get the players we need this summer? I will be as worried as I need to be come the end of the window. We don't know what the club is doing right now. DS Boss has said, who has been the better signing this season, Pepe or Ceballos? I think Pepe personally. Finally, Reezy has said, Ballers has said, I can't see why the club are looking to ship Ainsley, but Torreira I can understand. Sorry, that's not actually a question. That's not actually a question. That's one jarring thing you lot do where you do paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, and it's not actually a question. Doesn't help this at all. But yeah, man, I'm just going to quickly circle back through the old Q&As, and then after that, you lot can go where you're going, people. Alright, Deluded. Alright, call it a day. Oh, don't worry. Apparently, I missed you out last week. Apologies. You said, do you think Nelson Semedo would be a better option if Bellerin was to go? He's twice the player Bellerin is at fullback, in my opinion. Good signing. TS11 has said, Gabriel from Lyon for 25-30 million. Or Manglasar on a free. Gabriel. Malcolm has said, what does Bellerin actually excel at? And with what you have mentioned, has he actually made significant improvements in those areas since he's entered the first team? I don't think he's significantly improved, to the honest fan, since he's been in the first team. I think he's got more confident, more experience, but I wouldn't say significantly improved. Like if you spoke to Bellerin, he probably would say he's significantly improved, but I wouldn't. Significant for me is evident. Like if somebody didn't support Arsenal or even care about Arsenal or Bellerin, I showed them one clip of Bellerin when he made his debut, or 90 minutes then, I showed them 90 minutes now. And significant, I don't think the keyword significant. What he excels at, obviously, you mentioned Bellerin, you mentioned pace. I don't think he looks as explosive as he does, but I'd say pace. I don't think he actually excels at much. I don't think there's a standout attribute from Bellerin when I think of it beyond pace, and the pace thing hasn't been there for a number of years now, in my opinion. He's not slow, but he's not as rapid as he used to be, in my opinion. Maybe that's injuries, maybe that's a change in diet. I don't know, people. We'll have to see. I think that's all the questions asked via the Q&A though. It's been a good Q&A. I think I've answered all the questions. I think I answered each one to each one as well, which was, I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, he asked me about ideas. So yeah, it's been a fantastic Q&A, and it's my chance to kind of give back to you lot, because you lot support me. But all good things come to an end. Like I said, I apologise because I've had a mare, you know, cameras dying and batteries moving booky, and you know, it's taken me 2 days to actually record this. I've had to get up and finish this, people. But on that note, it's always appreciative for your support. You know, I'll be back again next week. Like I said, if you've got a question, don't be shy. I can't do this without you lot. Please ask a question in the comments under this video. Please offer your general thoughts under this video. Equally, you know, typically on a Monday, Tuesday max, you'll see me pop up on the community tab on my channel and ask for your Q&A questions and set a deadline. Equally on Twitter, the same logic applies as well, so please be aware of that, which a lot of you are. You know, if you haven't asked any questions and you just like to be here for the different sort of natured videos, I salute you, you know. Thank you very much for watching my video. Like I said, please like, comment and subscribe, and more importantly than that, please stay safe and healthy, people. On that